Welcome back to PJ Chen Design. Today we are looking into how to create a cartel ring for a custom cut stone. Are you ready? Let's get started. Before I start modeling, I would like to thank Deril Johnson sent me this beautiful custom cut stone to create this cartel ring. Deril is 15 years stone cutter, doing a lot of custom cut stone. He has this virtual stone with all the stone that he can custom cut. So he sent me one, and I'm looking at it. It's really nice cut. I will list 3 links that you can find him at the description below. If you're interested, you can contact him directly for the custom cut stone. With this beautiful stone, he also sent me a virtual stone file that is exactly the same with the gemstone that he sent me. So we're gonna starting with this gemstone from the beginning. Now we have the stone in place. We are going to starting with the ring size. For all my demonstration, I'm just using diameter for 16 here, and we are going to create an area for us to design the prong. On the top view, I'm going to draw a curve first, and this is gonna be the conic corner for the rectangle, and we wanted to snapping into the center, type it 0, and give it a try somewhere around this. It doesn't have to be exactly the same size, just roughly that's where the prong is going to be covered. So I'm going to moving this curve up somewhere around here. And at the front view, we want to decide a profile for a surface we are going to create. So roughly about here, I'm going to creating a surface, and also this will be where the prong is going to be. And then I want this surface to be a little bit puffier, so I kind of want them get really close to the stone but still maintain that puffiness over there. Okay, so now we have this curve. We're going to creating a surface for us to work on. I'm going to use the command. It's under the rail revolve, and this is will be our curve profile, and this will be the rail, and we're gonna go from here to the bottom and do 360 degree. Okay, so let me lock this stone so it won't accidentally to click it. This is the surface we can work on. There are a couple ways you can work on your pattern. You could just create a UV curve and design flat and kind of flow it back. That is one way to do it, or I actually like to work on it directly. I'm going to use dupe H, duplicate H, DUPE, and then we want to duplicate the top there as a reference and try to join them if they are separated. So now I'm going to turn this into the red colors, easier for you to see. Okay, so with this curve right there, I'm gonna divide it. So use the commands divide, and we want to divide them into 8 points. So as you can see, I got those points there as a reference for me. And that will be exactly at the 4 corner for the prong, and also somewhere in the middle. So we are going to use the arc tool, and we're gonna snapping into the point, and also this point over here, and coming down for whatever how deep you want for the arc. The arc doesn't have to be like exactly on the surface, because what we are going to do is we are going to project it to the surface that we create. So now you have something like this. Okay, so if that look good to you, we're gonna leave it there. Right. The other thing is, once I have this arc, I'm going to make a rotation for 90 degree and also tap the Alt key, so that way you will get a copy there. So that will be your copy, and as you can see, they are hopping on the surface really nicely. Now we have this. I'm going to use the arc tool one more time, and this time I want to snapping into the quadrant here and also the quadrant there, and we are gonna coming down with the arc like this. And apparently this arc is a little bit too fat there. It's not gonna fit it for what our need. So I'm going to move it closer a little bit to there. Now, instead of using the project, I'm going to use the command pull. And if you are interested in the difference between those two, I do have a video for it. So we are going to pick up this curve and click on this surface. So we'll get something like that. Depends on how you like it, and if you don't like it, you wanted to change it, you can turn on the control point, and as you can see, you have a lot of a point there. So what we like to do is we need to rebuild it first. This is easier for us to edit if you have a last point, right? So right here, I'm going to change to maybe just sort of 5 point. And then so that will be a smoother arc, but it's close enough. We don't have to have it completely attached to this one. It's just, you know, a reference, and we can kind of moving in if we want to by moving this point in, or whatever is fitting into your design. So once we like that, we are going to hiding this surface. You don't want to delete it because you might need it later on. So the next things we wanted to do is to creating the surface. Now at this point right here, I'm going to create a conic corner again, snapping with the center on this point, and we want to make sure center is click on the option. So that's clicking into to this point. Depends on how thick your prong is going to be. At this case, because I wanted to set the stone on the top, and my stone roughly will be 1 millimeter or a little bit bigger. It depends on your design. So I wanted to have 1.4 millimeter by 1.4 millimeter there. All right, so this is where our conic corner is, and you can decide how fat or how round you want it to have. As you can see on the top view, this is cutting into the stone too much, right? So I want to move it out a little bit. Let's try minus 0.4 here, and also minus 0.4 there to moving out a little bit. You want to cutting only about 25% of your prong. All right, so now the second things we wanted to do is we need to mirror to the other side over there. So let's go to user mirror, and then we want to have this one mirror to the other side. Okay, so let's give it a try. To creating the surface, we want to use the surface sweep one rail. This is the rail, and this is the cross section from here to here. Enter, and see if that is what you like. And again, if you don't like the angle or something, you can still adjust it. Sometimes what you can do is you can record a history and adjust the curve, or you can creating another profile there. So sometimes what I will do, I will delete this one, and I will make a copy of this one right there, turn it 90 degree over there, and have this one move it from this point to this point right there. All right, so that gives us another control over there. You can moving in or moving out a little bit if you want to. So let's take a look on the sweep one command one more time. We want to sweep one. At the same time, we want to record a history. So this is the rail. You're gonna go from here to here to here. Make sure they are aligned correctly. And let's take a look here. All right, so now if you don't like this one, you can, you know, keep editing and make them a little bit closer if you want to, until you find the best location for it. All right, so I'm going to stop it right there because we might still need to keep changing if we want to. Let's make a copy to the other side. We are going to use the rotate, copy equal yes, snapping into the center and moving this one, not moving, rotate it to the other side there. All right, so that will give us a guideline to see if this curve is going to fit it well. Now using the same curve, if you want to, or you can use smaller or bigger, and I'm going to copy that one from this point to the point over somewhere in the middle, and then after that we want to move it to lower and maybe moving in a little bit. So once I have that, I need to have, this is a sweep 1 surface, so we want to have that to the other side as well. So let's go ahead to using the mirror, and we want to go from 0 and to snapping into somewhere here for 45 degree. So you have that there. Let me hiding this two. It's easier for you to see. As you can see now, we have this and this curve in the green color. All right, so let's take a look on our sweep and see how it goes. And again, we always want to record a history and go to the surface, sweep 1, rail, cross section, and then make sure they are aligned perfectly. And let's take a look on that. Make sure you are not cutting inside of the stone because this is the stone file is exactly the same with the stone, so it's perfect for us to see if that will sit it really well. You also wanted to know where you are going to set the stone, so maybe the angle is not right. If that is not the right angle, maybe you want to kind of rotate it for whatever angle that it's going to fit into your design. So again, you wanted to know how you're going to set the stone, and let's turn on the first 2 rails we did. So then I will have something like that, and you can continue to creating more layer if you want to with the same method that I just showed you. All right, so if that worked for you, we are going to coming over here, and we're gonna pick up this surface, and let's do the rotate with the copy equal yes, because this is like quite a square stone, so we can just copy equal yes and to get this one there. All right, so let's take a look on the second part for the ring shank. I like to do the ring shank on the profile first, so we are going to do something like this, roughly about this Y, and this will be the ring profile. So I'm going to join this profile here and mirror to the other side. So now we have the profile for the ring. Let's go ahead to use the sweep 1 rail. Make sure they align. And then let's create the bottom of the ring shank. Okay, all right. So now with this 3 on the top, what I like to do is to come up 1 in the middle and it connecting to this point right there. And then the other 2 is coming out from the side and reaching at this point right there. However, they need to all coming into the profile and fitting into the half round profile that I just draw seamlessly. So this is the goal of what I like to do. So coming over here, we need to get a curve from this point to where exactly that midpoint over there. So I'm going to having a help to creating a tab from here and just going up. So I'm gonna coming into this view. I'm gonna draw a little bit longer so it's easier for you to see. You can see that there's a tab there, and we also need a curve from the ring shank. So we want to extract the ISO curve and going here, snapping right there. So let me turn this into other colors like red one. So it's easier for you to see what I'm doing there. Okay, so I have a curve here. I have a curve on the top. So what I like to do is to find a very nice curve in between. So I'm going to use the blend command, and I'm going to blend from this end to this end. So naturally you can see it coming to really nice curve over there that will go from this point to that point. I'm going to borrow that curve that we use over there, and I was doing on the other side. I'm going to make a copy over here. First of all, I want to align horizontal center. Just type it 0 there, and I want to move it to the place over there. And all I need to do now is to move it down close to the beginning of the curve that I have. As long as it's hiding inside of this one, inside of the surface that we did, you will be fine. So I'm going to go somehow like this. All right, let's give it a try. We are going to go with the sweep one. This is the rail, this is the cross section, and another cross section will be this one. Make sure they are aligned, and it's because the shape is different, it's hard to align, and I always like to align with the inside of the ring shank. So let's move that one to the quadrant over there. And that's how we get this surface really nice floating from this to inside of that. The side one might take additional step, but that is not the problem either. So what I like to do is go into the side view, and again I'm going to draw a straight line, and just want to draw a bit longer so it's easier for you to see this one that's turning into the green color. All right, we need to move this one into the right place, so let me move this to about this place. So that's how it will touching, you know, when we do the surface, it will touching at this point there. I'm going to hide this one so it's easier for you to see. If we go like this, it's going to, if we blend the curve from here to here, it's gonna go straight down. That might be too much of a curve. Let me show you what I mean there. We are going to use the blend, and we want to blend from this end to this end. All right, as you can see, this is kind of a front view is kind of a curving way too much, but we can always adjust it, the blend, and to find the better curve for us, maybe a little bit higher like that, because you have to, your surface does has a thickness, it will cut it inside of a ring shank. Okay, so if you like it, let's click OK, and let's take a look on the other view. Alright, it looked nice. Let's give it a try. We want to copy this one again to about this place, and looking at all four view, we want to place this one somehow close to here and move it down a little bit, and I might want it to turn it into the angle like this. Let's give it a try. We are going to use the sweep one rail. And remember to record the history. This is the rail, cross section and cross section. And again, you want to align it nicely. So I'm going to align there, the arrow facing the same direction. And you got something like this. All right, so let's turn on what we had there. And if you feel like this needs to be a little bit further, maybe it's too close there, we can move it out a little bit, and everything will follow if that is fitting your design better, because we have a record history, so we can always changing. But when you are moving the cross section away from the rail, you need to be careful, like if this is cutting inside too much, because this area right there will be trimmed off. And if that is the problem, you might kind of need to adjust it a little bit. So I'm going to stick with what I had there. Another thing that you also want to think about, this is the demonstration, so I'm not going to spend time to adjust this, but make sure that your acrylic is not sticking out too much, and sometimes like the design that I have here, it might stick out too much. You might want to have the second one set it a little bit lower, something like that, so it will protect the acrylic and it's not sticking into the finger. So now I have this one, and I'm going to have this one to mirror to the other side, and have all of this to mirror to the other side of a ring shank. So this is how we finish the structure for those prong and line work to getting into this fancy looking. The rest of it will be a stone setting for B setting. I have a whole playlist teaching about how to do the stone setting in the basic, and I also have the stone setting course to teach you all different kind of a stone setting model. If you're interested, click on the right top corner, then you will find a link there. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and thanks Derek again for this wonderful model to do this demonstration. And everybody, don't forget to check out Derek's stone model at the description below. Thank you for watching. Consider to join the member to see more behind the scene video. See you next time.